Hi guys, so the Prime Minister Keir Starmer was visiting a site on Thursday morning where he was forced to flee after a group of farmers who were protesting issues like the changes to inheritance tax turned up. A small number of tractors arrived on the scene and forced their way into an area where the Prime Minister was meeting a group of people. Now, while the farmers thought this was a massive win for them, they likely believe they ran the Prime Minister out of town. I believe support for their protest is starting to wane. Also, where they protested on Thursday was a massive own goal for the farmers. Have a listen.
Yeah, this was Action, the latest farming process Action, which was arranged by a group called Farmers to Action. They coordinated that early demo on Monday with Nigel Farage, the Reform UK leader, and they were down on Monday in Westminster for that huge demo, which saw hundreds of tractors. They were here in Milton Keynes this morning to, in their words, get that message further across to the Prime Minister. They're not happy about those changes to inheritance tax. So this morning, around 30 or 40 tractors mustered around 10 minutes away from where the Prime Minister was at this large construction site here, making those announcements about new towns, a big government policy that's been announced. And then while the Prime Minister was here, the tractors drove, and around a dozen of them got through the gates before police here cottoned on about what was happening, and they shut the gates and stopped the rest of them coming through. And on the road where we are now, there were around 30 other tractors, all with the placards that we've seen from demonstrations over the last year or so, no farmers, no food, and anti-Keir Starmer placards. And they were all parked here. We had a riot police van turn up, that's still beside us here, and around 8 or so police officers came. As I say, they blocked those gates, and some of those tractors that were inside while the Prime Minister was in there, they are just starting to come out now, just finally being allowed out. Now, while that was happening, the Prime Minister was quickly whisked away in his Land Rover, and they were taken away by another exit. We understand not the exit that the Prime Minister had planned to leave from. You can see some of the signs here. Those farmers who've coordinated this action over the last 12 hours or so now leaving.
Okay, isn't it interesting that this is a group of farmers who are coordinating their action with Nigel Farage? The same Nigel Farage who convinced these people to vote to make themselves poorer. And also the question has to be asked, I thought these people were supposed to be busy. They're always complaining about how much work they have to do, but they seem to have lots of time to go on many protests. There was one a few days ago, and then this one as well. Now, the worst thing about all of this, I think, for them, is that they were protesting at a site where they're building homes. The government are talking about building 1.5 million homes. There's pressure on governments over the last number of years to build homes. And Keir Starmer's at a site where they're building homes, building a city or a town. And who turns up to cause trouble? The farmers. These are people who don't want to pay inheritance tax. They're being offered a lower rate of inheritance tax than anyone else, and they're still not happy. But once again, these are farmers who are aligned with Nigel frigging Farage. So this, of course, was a publicity stunt. Oh, let's embarrass the Prime Minister. But you're embarrassing the Prime Minister at a place where they're building homes. Homes that are needed. I can't think of a worse own goal than turning up at a place where there are homes that are being built for ordinary people, we hope. And these guys think, oh, this is a great place to protest. Let's run the Prime Minister out of town. Look, I think support for this farming protest is waning. It's going down because the public are frankly tired of this. If you're protesting against something legitimate, I think the public will be on board. But to be complaining about, we don't want to pay inheritance tax. We have businesses lining up to buy our land, to buy our property, but we don't want to sell it. We don't want to pay inheritance tax. We don't want to sell the land. We don't want to change. We don't want anything. We want to stay as we are. Can you imagine any business that was going bust and somebody came along and said, look, I'm going to pay you the market rate or even above the market rate for your business. And you said to that buyer, no, I don't want to sell. I just want to sit here and complain. How could you expect sympathy after that. So once again, I think this was pretty bad optics for this farming protest, because you're protesting at a site where they're building homes which are desperately needed. You ran the Prime Minister out of town. Well done. You know, he should turn around and say, look, I was here to help promote this site where we're building homes for ordinary people, and I'm sorry that these people turned up and complained about what we're doing or tried to disrupt what we're doing. Important work. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.